to move.
Hi, I'm Arlene McIntyre, Creative Director at Ventura Design, and you're listening to Shut the Front Door, a light-hearted podcast that will bring you through the front door and into the homes of influential and interesting people. Home for me is one of the most important things in my life. My career has fortunately given me the opportunity to work closely with people and to help them create a home they will cherish forever. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Ireland's most well-established makeup artist, Michelle Regazzoli Stone. Michelle started off her phenomenal career by studying theatrical and media makeup in Dun Laoghaire Senior College in 2004. Straight after her graduation, she went to work with the world-renowned makeup brand MAC Cosmetics. After 10 years at MAC, she left to pursue her own independent career, which has seen her become one of Ireland's most in-demand bridal makeup artists and a regular contributor on RTE and Virgin Media TV. Michelle has worked with many high-profile clients at home and in the UK. Her work has featured in many publications and magazines, including a front-page cover of OK magazine. She has recently launched her own makeup brand, Mrs. Glam, to rave reviews. Michelle's positive attitude and passion for her career and family is clear for anyone to see. Mum to her two little monkeys, Max and Hugo, and married to Mark, it's my great pleasure to introduce Michelle to Shut the Front Door. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
Oh my God, Arlene, I nearly had a tear there listening to that introduction. Thank you so much.
Well, it's all true. It's all true.
Oh.
So how's life been treating you in lockdown? I know we tried to do a podcast kind of just as the lockdown was happening, and then we had to cancel it. I don't know if you remember all that.
Yes, I do indeed. It was very much so at the start of it all.
Gosh, so how's it been?
Do you know what? Naturally enough, it was traumatic at the start. The stress of everything was, pretty intense. Unfortunately, a lot of my brides had to cancel their big days and postpone to later in the year or early next year. But apart from that, I'm actually getting to live in my house and really enjoy sections of my home and my garden because the weather's been fabulous. So it hasn't all been bad.
Yeah, we've been so blessed with the weather. It's just been like phenomenal to have all this sunshine. Things could have been a lot worse, to be honest.
I agree.
Yeah. And I mean, you're living in your dream home, as you just mentioned a moment ago. So yeah, I'd say there's been a to-do list of things because you're so busy all the time that now you've had time to catch up on everything.
And the glorious thing as well with my husband being off work is that he got roped into having to do all the work.
No escape.
I made the lists and he did all the work that I needed him to do. So, it's kind of like everything in life. You do have to try and take the positive from it. Mm-hmm. We got amazing time together as a family. We got things finished off that we probably wouldn't have had the chance to finish off because we're both young people with our own businesses and, obviously two young kids. Trying to juggle everything as well as maintaining a house is, it's very busy.
Yeah, for sure. And Michelle, really, you always crack me up on Instagram. I saw you doing a stint on TikTok with your boys. It actually made me laugh out loud. You're just so much fun. And I'd say your boys love that about you.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're such good kids. I'm so lucky, but they are really well mannered, really well behaved, and they love the crack. They love a bit of fun. So yeah, I just try and keep it going for them.
And are you the devil or are they the ones that put you up to that? Whose idea was that?
There's a little touch of mad in me, a little touch of fun, a little touch of crazy. Only in my little private, in my little comfort zone. But yeah, I love a bit of fun and mischief. And we had a little launch party here in the house because unfortunately I couldn't have a launch party and have people at it. So we had to cancel the launch for the Mrs. Glam Showstopper palette, which we launched back in March, literally the week of lockdown. And I put on my sparkly, beautiful dress that's covered in diamonds and feathers. And I got onto the trampoline with the boys.
Fantastic. I love it. They must love that you're so much fun.
Yeah. It keeps us all happy and elevated and positive, and they do what they're told then. If it's homework time, they'll do their homework, and it kind of just all works together.
Yeah, for sure. And your business in particular is very one-on-one and face-to-face. Like, what plans have you made to work through and around the new conditions we're all being faced with at the moment?
It's just going to have to be a different level of I mean, I was always very intense when it came to sanitizing brushes and my hands and everything that I needed. But now it's probably going to be a case of having, so say for instance, now I've one wedding that has kept her booking in July. Everybody else has cancelled right up to September. So she's having a really, really small, intimate wedding just with family, but there's still a few of them to get makeup. So I'm just going to buy a brush set for every single client. And as I finish with them, put them into a bag and just sanitize them all properly when I get home.
Great. Yeah. Just you've got to do whatever you've got to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, there's no better woman than you to work your way through this and out of this. I mean, you're a real hard worker and a grafter, Michelle, and I know that. So I think everything will be okay for you.
Yeah, please God. I mean, I love to work. It's me. It's my passion. It's what makes me Michelle. And I love being around people. So I think one of the saddest things that came from this initially was kind of, not being in people's houses and not having that one-on-one experience with people, because there's nothing greater than handing someone a mirror and they look at it and smile. And sometimes there's even a tear in someone's eye because they're like, I haven't felt this good in so long. So to be able to do that for somebody is really magical and really special. So I know we're going to have our time back again and things are hopefully going to revert back to normal really soon. But, I think sometimes I even crave that feeling with somebody because it's very special.
That's true. And you're sometimes like you're a big part of the overall wedding day memory, and you're giving the bride confidence and helping her feel good about herself on the day. So what you do is really an important part of the day. Yeah,
it is. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change a thing about it. It's so special. And like my husband said, he's like, you're kind of similar to the Vera Wang dress, like you're pretty important. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But, I make sure that I'm there on time. I do my job seamlessly. I don't get in anybody's way. They kind of come to me. I think people think that when I walk into the house, because they see me on Instagram, they think I'm going to be this persona and this big kind of loud character and funny and cracking jokes. And I'm the complete opposite. I'm quiet. I'm in a corner. I'm in my zone. I'm working. Obviously, I chat and, have a laugh, when invited to in such a way. But I'm certainly not there to take over on anybody's morning. I'm literally there to make them feel like a beautiful version of themselves.
Oh, it's perfect. Michelle, I have so many questions for you today. I don't even know where to begin, but let's start first with your first childhood memories of home. Can you share some of those with me?
So we actually lived down in Navan until I was about 4 years old. So I vaguely remember a few bits about the house. And of course, I thought this was the biggest house in the whole world. And if we drive down to it now, it was I think 3 or 4 bedroom home, semi-detached house with a massive big garden. And it backed onto a big massive field where they used to grow crops. So my earliest memory is actually walking through those fields and finding a field mouse and of course thinking that this was the size of a lion, but it was only a little mouse. I was tiny. I was only 4 years old. And then we moved up to Dublin, back to Dublin. Mum and Dad are both Dubs. So we moved back to Dublin and moved down onto the Navan Road into a beautiful red brick home. And Dad's a painter and decorator and total perfectionist. And the house was like a doll's house. So I just always remember I'm the eldest of 3 girls and I had my own room, the little box room, and my sisters shared a bedroom, the 2 single beds side by side with beautiful floral wallpaper. And it was all very girly. My poor dad, he was completely outnumbered.
Totally.
Yeah. But yeah, so lovely.
Is he Italian descent? I mean, it's definitely an Italian name.
Yes. Have you seen my dad? He looks like a little Mario brother. He's a little black mustache and black long hair.
What part of Italy is he from?
About four generations Italian and Spanish. So his grandmother was Spanish and his grandfather was Italian. And he was a flautist in an orchestra that traveled Europe. And they're from Milan. So he's from Milan originally. They traveled through Europe with their orchestra and ended up in Dublin.
Interesting. Gosh, there's a real kind of there's a lot of Italian, descent, people that have, there's different groups and pockets of families that you might even know yourself that they kind of all originate back to Italy. It's interesting. So then tell me about your teenage bedroom. What was that like? You had your own box room. So describe that for me.
I had my own box room. Naturally enough, pretty small, but as a teenager, it was all about as much storage as I could possibly get. So I had 2 drawers under my single bed. I had a beautiful, my dad made me this wardrobe, and I had, like shutter blinds. I had that kind of detail going across the doors.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really nice. It was made of wood. And then I don't know where he got them from, but he got me shelving. And the shelving went from one side of the wall all the way to the other, so I could stock all my stuff on it. And I had a little yellow ghetto blaster that I'd play my 90s dance music on, and loads of books and loads of makeup and just all lovely little trinkety things. Like my aunties were great for buying beautiful little bottles of things. These are my like Italian aunties. And they'd always give them to me when they were finished with them. So I'd collect all of their stuff.
So when did your passion for makeup begin? Was it at that age when you were in your teens?
Yeah, I'd say I was about 15 or 16, and I had loads of aunties, and they were all very glam, and they'd sun shimmer all over their face and neck and hands and perms, and they were just so glamorous. And again, they used to give me little bits and pieces to collect over the years. But my dad was so strict, I was never allowed to actually wear it. So it was only when I went to makeup college that I was allowed to start wearing makeup. So I was like 18, but I would have had bags of makeup, of stuff that I would have collected throughout the years. I actually recently put it up on my Instagram, and people went crazy for it because so many people of a similar age to myself had the exact same products. So
really?
yeah, it was fascinating to see. Like we all used to wear this silvery cream eyeshadow across our lid and right up to our eyebrows, and everybody was the same. So I got a great reaction from that.
That's really funny. And what labels were you using then?
Miss Selfridge used to have their own brand of makeup in store up in the Blanchardstown Shopping Centre. There was, I think it was called Constance Carroll's, and they used to have clear mascaras and clear gels with glitters in them. I'm trying to think of other brands. Bourjois was massive as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And Rimmel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all the kind of drugstore brands were huge. Oh, then, Elizabeth Arden. How can I forget Elizabeth Arden?
Oh, Elizabeth Arden, of course. Yeah.
Toasty beige.
So were you more kind of into makeup, or were you into skincare, or was it a bit of both?
Very much so makeup.
Makeup. Okay, great.
No, skincare has only kind of happened for me, I think, in the last 5 years, like a real interest in it. But it was very much so all about the makeup.
Yeah, the makeup and anything that kind of was glittery and sparkly, and you loved it.
Yes, anything that would illuminate.
Illuminate, I love it. Yeah, great. Yeah. And so then tell us about your journey about branching out then as a makeup artist on your own. I know that you started out in MAC, so maybe talk us through that.
I was with MAC Cosmetics for 10 years. Absolutely loved every minute of it. The diversity of the brand. You wouldn't know who'd walk in the door. I remember one of the girls from Girls Aloud came in with a wig on, and I went over to serve her, and she was like, "Oh, I'm Sarah Harding from Girls Aloud." It was just, oh my God, best experience ever. So after having Hugo, my second boy, I just decided that it was time to kind of move on a little bit. But what was happening was social media was becoming a real thing. And I was like last to join the party on that one. But I was watching like makeup artists and brands and people starting to, create looks online or even collaborate. Say, for instance, like a boutique had opened out in Malahide. People were going out and buying the clothes and putting up pictures of what they were wearing. And then makeup artists were going out and creating looks on the models. So they're really getting to showcase their work. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to be part of. So I was working out of a friend's hair salon, just doing a couple of faces a week, probably 3 or 4 faces a week. Things were going really well. And then just by putting more effort into my social media, it just took off.
Yeah, well, I think you brought it to life, though. You personally brought it to life, It was you and your personality that kind of brought everything, you're really good at kind of getting over the whole message of what you do.
Yeah, so I really persevered with things. I watched how things were starting to move. And like I said, if like a boutique opened somewhere or a new hair salon was doing celebrities' hairs, I went out and was like, "Hi, does anybody want their makeup done?" And I would stand there and I would do free faces all day long. It wouldn't take a shred out of me. I would just go and do it and enjoy doing it. And then next of all, it was like, "Oh, my client Rosanna Davison's wedding is coming up soon. Could you maybe do a trial for her. Now I'm talking about Ciara Lambert here. And that's all how everything progressed. It was just going out, doing free jobs, making sure everybody knew my name, leaving cards wherever I could. Even if people said no, I still left them a card and they still got back in touch with me. So it was very consistent, and I really persevered because I knew what I wanted.
Yeah. Great. And again, like that, you were prepared to just, take all the experiences you could get, whether you were paid for them or not. That's really important.
Well, it was a case of getting out there for people to see my work. And it's like an element is if they fall in love with my work, then I know they'll use me again. And then word of mouth is great, but social media was even more powerful. So people put up a photograph and tagged you. It was worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, for sure.
This was before algorithms. This is when everything was organic.
Wow.
Like there was no shadow bans and there was nothing that you had to contend with. It was just pure organic. Got my makeup done today with Mrs. Makeup. I absolutely love it. And next of all, you know that overnight you get 3,000 new followers. It was just insane. It was incredible.
Wow, great.
And then I really kind of launched myself into social media within about, say, 2 years after that. So that was 5 years ago. And then in 2017, Brendan from Be Perfect got in touch with me and said, you're excellent at what you do. You're so credible and people really relate to you. And of course, I didn't think that I would have had a high enough following for someone to collab with me, or, I just didn't have that belief in myself. And Brendan was like, no, I think you're really strong and people trust you and, you're very authentic. So I would like to sit down and discuss a potential collaboration. And that was literally, I think, November or December 2017. So we literally just sat down, had a chat one day. And he said, if you were to create something, what would it be? And I said, if I had my way, it would be a complete face palette that you could be sitting on a plane or train or even obviously at home. And you'll have your eyeshadows, your bronzers, your blushers, and your lipsticks. So we toyed around with ideas, went back and forward with certain ideas, removed the idea of the lipstick because it wouldn't work with having so many powders in a palette, and start creating the Mrs. Glam Showstopper palette then around 2018. So it was a really, really long experience of back and forwards, and I was very fussy. I really knew what I wanted. I didn't want to put anything out just for the sake of putting something out there. I wanted it to be a complete picture of who I am and what I am and what I believe in that people should have for makeup, if that makes sense.
Yes, of course. And then what plans, talk us through then your journey, if you like, of when Mrs. Glam really found its legs, if you like. Then you found that your bookings obviously were, quadrupling, I'd imagine, at that point, and you've been super, super busy ever since. It's just been a total success story for you.
Yeah, thankfully it has. With doing a lot of high profile weddings, for instance, Rosie Conley and Rosanna Davison, they really catapulted me way more into the bridal world, which I adore and I love working with my brides. And then with creating the product, it was great in a way where the samples could be sent to me at home. I could test them out for a few weeks. Like if I showed you my samples that I had from last year, they were teeny tiny little samples, and I used to put them into like a freestanding palette and work on my clients. So I've actually used my Mrs. Glam Showstopper palette for a year, even though it only launched this March.
I see.
So all of my brides from last year have essentially been wearing my product. They just didn't know, because I couldn't put my name to something, or I couldn't, design something that wasn't going to be 100%. So the fact that I've had so much time to create this, thankfully, it's like really starting to translate, and people, they get my vision. And it's, we sold out in the middle of all of this quarantine and lockdown, which I couldn't believe it. I really genuinely was absolutely blown away that we sold out within about 4 weeks through lockdown.
That is unbelievable. Good for you. And just talk me through when you're preparing for a photo shoot, for a photo shoot or for a bride. Do you find the same amount of preparation and planning goes into both kind of photo shoots?
So for a photo shoot, generally what will happen is they'll send you over a mood board, and there'll be loads of inspiration, and you'll have a really good idea of like the stylist, the hairdresser, and then obviously yourself to come up with the idea of things. And I'll know who I'm working on. I get pictures of the models, which is fantastic to be able to really prep skin tones and eye colors and that. And then similar with a bride, that when the bride comes in for her wedding trial, I get to again see hair color, eye color, skin tone, and also talk about her theme. So if she's kind of going for like a vintagey type of style, we'll know to kind of pull towards like a red lip or a burgundy lip, or, you know, different things like that I can actually get inspiration from. So they are a very similar amount of prep that go into both. But with the bride, I'll get to meet her, you know, 3, 6 or 9 months in advance of the big day to really be able to talk about like looking after your skin in advance, being able to take supplements. If there's certain things that I need in the morning, whether it's like good light or a table or anything at all like that. We have loads of prep time well in advance of actually doing the job.
Wow. So is supplements, are they something you would definitely recommend, yeah?
Oh, big time. When I hit 30, which would have been 5 years ago, I developed adult acne. So I never had acne or really problematic skin as a teenager. But as an adult, it just literally came out of nowhere. And I had kind of fleshy lumps on, you know, right up on my cheeks, you know, basically where you put your highlighter and your blusher. So you're highlighting your little blemishes. And only through being put on some supplements, like there's an excellent one called Acumax. It basically got rid of my rosacea.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. I won't lie as well, though. A course of microneedling helped as well. So both of them together worked really well.
Microneedling, gosh, that sounds painful. Was it painful?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is painful.
But it got you the results and it helped you.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
So, yeah, the same amount of preparation goes into, if you like, a fashion shoot as it would if you were dealing with a bride, as you said, 6 months in advance. And skincare is really important as well. So
yes,
how
exactly.
would you be advising, say, a bride, for example, on how to prep her skin leading up to the big day?
So I generally try and get the bride in as soon as I possibly can, you know, more so towards the 6 to 9 month in advance mark to get them in. And your cleanse, your tone, your moisturizing is so important. I think also often people go to their skin therapist or their beauty therapist and they might get a facial and then they don't buy the products. But your product, your aftercare is so important to maintain your skin. Also, I think that we have come such a long way with skincare and with treatments that the likes of your microneedling, if you have large pores, are going to help diminish it. They're going to stop excess oil coming out onto the skin. I never in 100 years thought that I'd be able to get rid of rosacea, but I did through my Acumax supplements and my microneedling. My course of my microneedling. I haven't had it done since, but I haven't really had to. But I do maintain my skin every single night, drink plenty of water, and try and get some decent sleep.
Yeah, totally. And tell me, what plans do you have for expansion of maybe new products with Mrs. Glam?
We have loads of plans, thankfully. I suppose there was an element of seeing how things were going to go first time round with the Showstopper palette, and through having such an unbelievable response from online sales as well as retail. I mean, I presumed the palette would only be sold in Ireland in pharmacies, and it's in Poland, it's in Australia. You know, it's starting to kind of branch out globally, which I can't believe it. Like, I really just think that this is incredible. I always had an idea in my head that I would have loved to do it by myself. But with being so busy with work, like all my weekends are gone. I can't fly off to shows if there's like a beauty show on, you know, because my weekends are gone. They're booked so far in advance, you know. And again, with the boys as well, I can't just pick up and leave. So I always had an idea in my head that I would love to develop products by myself. But then kind of deep down in my heart, I knew I couldn't give it 100%. So to have the opportunity of being able to do it with the likes of Brendan, who is, you know, has such an amazing established brand. It's incredible. But my brand, Mrs. Glam, is totally different to his, which is Be Perfect. So he has seen the success of the palette, and we have decided to continue with developing more products, which would be really exciting because it'll bring us right up into next year.
Wow, exciting. And
Yeah, really exciting.
it is really exciting. And so you're still seeing that there are, you mentioned one bride there that is actually going to be going ahead with her wedding, which is fantastic. So do you
Yeah.
have loads of kind of bookings right into the end of the year?
So it kind of picks up. It's actually a funny one this year.
Yeah,
I could
it
have
is.
a burst of cancellations in August or September and have one or two that are holding on um, to right up until, in my head, I thought that, right, phase 5 is the 10th of August, and then we'll start gradually getting back to normal. Whereas now
Yes.
that things are being brought forward a little bit more and we don't have a phase 5 anymore, there's people still planning on getting married now at the end of August.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, if it was me, I wouldn't, because social distancing is going to be a thing for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And I have kind of heard that people are just saying that the feedback from hotels are, if you can only have 100 people at your wedding, they have to account for the staff that will be in the hotel as well. So it'll diminish your numbers even more. So
Wow.
I think for the
So
sake of the
true.
year that's in it, and it's been so uncertain and so intense, I personally, I would put it off until later in the year or early next year.
Yes, I think that's good advice. Just so that everyone feels really comfortable and safe, and
I
you
mean,
can relax.
unless you're
You can
happy
relax.
to, exactly, you can relax, but unless you're happy to only have 20 people at your wedding, then that's fine. And
Yeah,
it'll be
that's true.
family that you'll know their whereabouts and where they've been in the last while.
Yeah, that's
So,
fair. That's true. That's true.
yeah,
No, it's really tough because obviously so many brides out there have been really looking forward to this year. 2020 was meant to be like the year for a lot of brides.
because of the
So
date.
yeah, so it's been a real bummer for a lot of people out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And do you feel that social media has, like you were mentioning earlier, has been a major factor in your business? Do you still maintain that social media is definitely, if you were advising anybody else trying to break into the business, that social media really is the best way to demonstrate your work?
So with having 17 years experience, and so much of my work initially was through word of mouth,
Mm-hmm.
such and such down the road got married 2019, and her cousin comes back to me then for 2020 or 2021. So that's been a big part in the fact that I've been able to make my name in that way. So I'd
Yes.
say it's kind of 50-50 with social media and also with building up a good name and a good
Mm-hmm.
reputation between people, because I really, really, really do not let people down unless it's an emergency or something falls
Mm-hmm.
on the day. Do you know what I mean? I
Of
never
course.
ever let people down. I really strive to give a 5-star quality service to people. And I think that has stood to me big time as well. So my social media is very important. And now through developing it and learning so much about it, I mean, when I first started off on social media, I was shown everything, like irrelevant things, but just, it was kind of like, it kind of becomes a bit of an addiction, and you're
Yeah.
showing so many things in your life. And then you realize, probably don't need to show quite as much. Pulling back a small bit, learning what suits you, what suits your brand, what makes sense. And then you start to grow your social media in a different way. So now I realize how important it is, particularly through this time and having some time off, that I realize that my social media is very important for my business in order for me to make money.
Yeah,
So,
totally. And of course, for managing your brand, but absolutely, word of mouth is number one. I agree with you. It's about your reputation. You've earned your stripes, so to speak. You know what
yes,
you're
exactly.
doing. So experience is key, but how you manage your brand on social media is also really important too. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
So do you have a private makeup studio at home in your beautiful new home?
I do. Again, COVID-19 has helped get that all finished up for me. My
Mm-hmm.
husband's been
Good.
in there tapping away at it and painting it up and sorting it out. Yes, I have a glam room. And I actually kind of only started working out of it in January, and unfortunately then had to finish up in March. But I have a beautiful big mirror and lovely drawers, and it's a work
Mm.
in progress. I still have a lot to finish in that room, but for the time being, it's my lovely little space to be able to create. I can leave it in a mess and come back the next day and clean it all up, and nobody can say anything to me.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I adore it.
And how would you describe your own interior style, like at home? How would you describe your home?
How would I describe my home? I feel like it's a bit of a Hamptons vibe. I
Yeah.
love linens and creams and blues, and I love a neutral tone, but I'm starting to introduce a lot of greenery. I love flowers. I love plants. So it's a classic country type of a vibe, but I'll
Mhm.
always kind of look at magazines and obviously look at your beautiful social media page that I get so much inspiration from, and your showrooms, obviously, that I've been in. And I just love that really clean, refined type of a look.
Mm. Yeah, you definitely have a Hamptons looking home. You have beautiful joinery and wall paneling and a magnificent stairwell in your home. My gosh, whose idea was that?
That was Mark's. That was
Oh,
Mark's from
it's
day
lovely.
one. He had his heart set on the staircase. His granny had a beautiful home in Ashtown, and it was absolutely magnificent. So there was actually quite a few features that he had taken inspiration from his granny's home, and he wanted it in his
Mhm.
own home. And I love that. I love that that has stood with him or stayed with him
Yeah.
since his childhood, and he then incorporated it into his home. So I love
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And your kitchen living area is just fabulous, Michelle.
Oh, thank
Is
you.
that something you both really wanted, that open plan living feel? Dining,
Yeah,
kitchen, living?
we have a really massive high ceiling in our living space, and I just feel like it's just a real sense of calm and openness. And yeah, that was one thing that I just would hate for someone to come in and feel like a squatty type of a room where you're nearly on top of people. There's always
Yeah,
that free flow here in the kitchen, and this is our main room.
yeah. I would imagine it's the heart of the home where you spend most of your time together as a family.
Yes, exactly.
And did you find the whole building process tough? Or, some people just take it in their stride and then others really struggle with it because, buying a home is one thing, building and designing your own home and all the delays and stress that comes with it is something entirely different.
It was massively stressful in stages.
Hmm.
But I would do it again in the morning. I loved every second of it, and so did Mark. I think it's like anything with your first child, your first job, your first car,
Yeah.
obviously your first home. Everything that's your first, you really, really learn the hard way with. I feel so. We made mistakes. There's things still that I would change. Um, it was stressful dealing with people. We did learn a lot of things the hard way. But when you sit back now, and when I sit back and I look around and I take so much pride in it, I'm like,
Mm.
oh my God, I would do that again in the morning. I did love every second of it, but there was a lot of challenges. But you learn and you grow from challenges.
Oh, yeah, big time. And are you a super organized, neat person?
I never was, but I kind of am now. And again, it's the pure pride. Like I will not go to bed, no matter how tired I am, until my island and my kitchen is spotless. Like just
I
particularly the
know.
island, because the boys will come down in the morning and eat some cereal and whatever. I don't like stains from teacups or coffee cups or coffee spoons or whatever. So
Yeah.
they're my little things that I'm quite particular about.
Hmm.
There's still mess, there's still clutter. There's towels everywhere from the boys running out to their little pool to dip their feet in on the hot days. I'm not going to worry about like mess. I want it to be lived in, but there's little things that I'm particular about that I would take a lot of pride in.
For sure. And so, where would be your spot, Michelle, in the house that you would love to go and read a magazine or chat to a friend? Where's your favorite place in your home?
At the moment, it's in my living space, down where the TV is, but we haven't finished it yet. But our good room, as we call it, has one couch in it because I wasn't sure if I wanted to get two couches or I wanted armchairs or what I wanted. So
Hmm.
sometimes I go in there, I close the doors, and that's like my little quiet space. We have dark wooden floors and dark kind of a bluey grey wallpaper. So it's a lovely kind of a moody type of a room. So that's kind of my little space. I love it.
And so, what's your morning ritual? Well, how does your day begin?
Well, I was going to say pre COVID is probably 5:30 in the morning off to drive to Donegal to do a wedding.
Oh my
But
gosh.
now that life has slowed down substantially, it's a case of getting up at 9 o'clock with the boys, um, coming down, making a coffee, having some breakfast. And we have a really nice, lovely, quiet lane. And we just try and get some exercise and come back and do some homework. And then they'll probably play on their Nintendo for an hour or so, and I'll get my work done.
Do you like cooking?
Yeah, I like cooking. Now, Mark is better than me at cooking, but I do like it. So he has his dinner. The four of us make sure that we have our dinner together, and sometimes go off and do some more walking or cycling. We're gone really, really into cycling, which I adore. Like, the boys love it. Yeah. So it's great. And then TV. We're very much so TV people.
What are you watching at the moment? Are you watching anything on Netflix?
I'm watching Peaky Blinders because I have a little fancy for Cillian Murphy.
Oh yeah, his blue eyes.
Yeah, I just think he is a fantastic actor.
Yeah. So what's the first thing you look out for when you visit somebody else's home? Are you looking out for their color scheme or their lighting, or what is kind of that one thing you kind of find that you're always looking for when you walk in?
I think maybe it's because of Mark's influence, but we're always looking at people's kitchens.
Yes.
And I'm a real detail person, so I just always look around for detail. And yeah, colors. I think colors are really interesting. Like, a friend of mine has a beautiful, deep, kind of like an emerald green kitchen. And it's stunning, absolutely stunning, and so unique and so different. It's a very country style. So yeah, I just love the way everyone is so unique.
Mm-hmm. And what one piece in your home holds the most special memories for you?
Oh my God, without a doubt, my chandelier that's over my staircase.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Oh, it was my like, I have to move in with that in my home. Like, wasn't a case of like, oh, I'll wait and I'll get it in a few years. It was like, no, I have to have it. And like, it is my absolute and ultimate pride and joy, is my chandelier that I got from you guys.
I know, but it's also where it's positioned. I mean, it's in a beautiful stairwell. It looks very at home where it is. It sparkles there.
And we have a window at the front of the house. So if you drive by the house and the light is on, you can see it. And I just think it's so special. And the way it catches the light and the size of it and the detail, like, it's just full of detail. So
yeah, so beautiful. And it's Italian made. So of course you like it.
I know.
And what's Christmas like for you in your home?
Christmas for us is so magical. It's all about family. Obviously, the gifts are very special. Food, and we love music. So it's all about singing and dancing. And we are majorly Christmas people. Like, we love it.
Great. And do you like cooking for even around the Christmas time or period, or is that mainly Mark again?
Yeah, Christmas this year we had my mom and dad, my sisters, Mark's mom and dad, and obviously my boys, myself and Mark. So we did a nice big group, and Mark did a lot of the cooking.
Excellent. But hey, you're the hostess.
I was too busy decorating the table.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to get the details right. It's all about the ambience.
Yeah, absolutely.
And who have been your style icons in life, Michelle?
God, that's a really hard one. Do you know who I love? I love Paul Costello. I love everything that he does. I love, even the way he sketches. Everything is just so elegant.
Yeah, that's true.
If there's people who I like kind of for, I don't know, like, I love Italian supermodels. I love Raquel Welch. I love Sophia Loren.
Yes.
I love all that kind of a vibe, like that just real Mediterranean type of influence.
Very glamorous women you've just mentioned there. So you like women that are,
Yeah, I love that type of glamorous style. Yeah.
Well-groomed. Yeah. Sophia Loren is beautiful. Like, I love her. Yeah, she's so beautiful.
My Italian granddad used to call me Sophia Loren, which I thought was really cute.
Oh, that is so cute.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that Sophia Loren sleeps 12 hours a night. She just needs that, and that's it. The way everyone has a kind of a limit of what they need. She needs 12 hours a night.
Wow. Even if I wanted to sleep that long, I don't think I could, but fair play to her.
Exactly. And what qualities do you admire in people?
I just love people who are kind and are authentic. I just have no room for nonsense, it's like anything. It's like being transparent, being a good person, doing things for others, not being selfish, kind of not making it all about you, and being very open to giving to other people.
Mm-hmm. And what motivates you each day when you open your eyes in the morning? What's your number one motivator?
My number one motivator, they're my boys. Without a doubt, my boys. I want them to be well educated. I want them to be really good people. I feel like with this generation, they're so used to getting things, whereas when we were kids, we didn't get them quite as easily. So they're given things quite frequently, and I want them to appreciate what they get. So that's why I encourage them to help me with things, and they're great with chores, and but they're my biggest motivation. I also think it's really important that they see that mommy goes to work and it's not only daddy. So they're kind of things in my life that I always make sure that they just see things for what they are, you know?
Yeah, they're good values, definitely. Mm-hmm. Where do you see yourself even in the next 5 years, Michelle?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Please God, things have grown with Mrs. Glam because I am enjoying every second of it. Mm-hmm. I would love a new baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd love a new baby, but I'd have to really plan it, really plan it out.
Yeah, for sure.
And just happy, content, the house more finished, finally having my good room finished, and maybe a few rugs around the house I'd be happy with.
Oh yeah, all those things will come. They'll all come.
Yeah.
And what advice, Michelle, would you give to your younger self looking back over your career?
Is that you or me with the crows?
That's a crow in the back garden. Oh, that's so funny.
That's so funny because usually they are tormenting me, but today all the doors are closed.
I'm laughing that you heard the crow. But seriously, what advice would you give to your younger self?
The advice that I give to my younger self is to stop worrying about what other people think. I used to be consumed by that when I was growing up, and it actually is so irrelevant. To make sure that you have a goal for yourself and you work towards it, because no one's going to help you get there. It's all about how you deal with a situation and just learn from your mistakes. Don't be afraid of making a few mistakes and just be a good person.
Good advice, Michelle. And Michelle, I'm going to ask you something completely separate. It's called the quick fire round of questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Bath or shower?
Bath.
Bra or knickers?
Bra.
Text or talk?
Text.
Wine or champagne?
Champagne.
Night owl or early bird?
Night owl.
Glass half empty or glass half full?
Glass half full.
Bedside left or right?
Left.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Taxi or walk?
Taxi.
Natural or glam?
Glam.
Fashion or bridal shoots?
Fashion.
Fashion or interiors?
Interiors.
Locked in or locked out?
Locked out.
And my final question is 2020 or 2021?
2020.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
I wish you all the best, and I do admire you. So thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thank you. Stay safe.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Bye.